This is No Frills ASMR. So yesterday, well, I'm not sure when this will post exactly, but I posted looking at the front section of the New York Times, and I thought I'd come back today and look at the business section. So hopefully this wasn't too much for you. I admit that video got more intense than I had thought. But this one probably won't. We can get on from the news. Okay, so business. Ooh, what's this a picture of? Saint Laurent. All that glitters is not gold. As Saks files for bankruptcy. I didn't know that. Saks Fifth Avenue? Really? You guys, do you hear Cooper purring? Cooper just came in the room purring, which I don't know what he's purring about. What's going on, Coop? He found himself a cozy blanket behind me, so if you get lucky enough, he might come around. Let's see. Saks Global, the company that owns Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and Bergdorf Goodman, filed for bankruptcy protection. Wow. I did not know this. The filing is the latest sign that America's luxury department stores, once landmarks that served as immersive fantasy worlds for the wealthy and aspirational, are becoming an endangered species. I'm sure it has mostly to do with different styles for young people. And, I'm sorry, hold on. And different, people are shopping online instead of in stores. I don't know. I gotta say, I don't know when I was last in that kind of store. I know it's a long time. Saks said it had secured roughly $1.75 billion to help finance the company through bankruptcy. I mean, sometimes they just file for bankruptcy and then what do they call that? Redo everything and then come back and they're fine. It's just a way to get rid of debt. So I don't know. Refiners to profit as U.S. asserts control over Venezuelan oil. Some of the biggest early winners in the Trump administration's efforts to assert more control over Venezuela's energy industry are not the companies that produce oil, but the ones that transform it into gasoline, diesel, and other products. U.S. refining companies like Valero Energy and Marathon Petroleum are poised to profit. So if you're in the stock market, you might look those up and see what the story is. They've probably already shot up, though. Much as there are different kinds of apples, not all oil is the same. Venezuela's main type of crude is especially hard to handle, viscous and tar-like. And for that reason, it generally is cheaper than the varieties found under American soil. That's interesting. I know that. And unlike oil producers such as ExxonMobil or ConocoPhillips, which have to weigh whether the risk of operating in Venezuela are worth it, these refiners have little to lose because they don't have to make long-term commitments or send any employees to the country. All right, I'm going to look them up in my Roth IRA after this. Officials say Trump tries to sway Fed with threats. Kashkari defends Powell and says rising pressure is about monetary policy. Yeah, Jerome Powell posted a video talking about how he feels he's being threatened with a lawsuit about what do you call it? Like additions to the federal building. I don't know. They were doing some work and I don't know all the story, but they were spending like the government does too much on it. And so Trump's suing him over that. But Powell says it's because he won't lower interest rates as quickly as Trump wants. So that's that story. U.S. growth was unlikely from tariffs. President Trump, a lover of tariffs, has become even more enthusiastic about their benefits in recent weeks. In an economic speech in Detroit on Tuesday, Mr. Trump mentioned tariffs more than 24 times, saying the levies had generated trillions of dollars of investments for the company. Or the country, sorry. All right, well, let's hope so. November spending rose, a delayed report shows. Wholesale prices climbed slightly in November. Trump nominates donor to open seat on FTC. Trump nominates donor to open seat. President Trump on Tuesday nominated David McNeil, a Republican political donor who founded and leads a company that makes automotive accessories, to an open seat on the Federal Trade Commission. Okay. Stocks and bonds. Wall Street slumps as bank and technology stocks tumble. What is when? Because my stocks are all up. I feel like a regular genius. I told my sons, anyone who started, putting money in around COVID thinks they're a genius, because ever since then, the stock market's been consistently up. All through Biden, all through Trump. It's just... And also, it doesn't seem to be as affected. Like, there was a time when this Powell thing would have made the stock market go nuts, but it's like ignoring all that. So, yeah, don't get too big of a head if you're like, I'm doing so good. Yeah. Yeah. What happened in the stock market yesterday? Okay, that's 2 days old news. Fed officials says threat from president are about monetary policy. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Criminal investigation of Powell prompts blowback and dissent. Yeah, I think a lot of people, because he's kind of, I don't know how to say it, like old school. And I think a lot of Republicans are like, okay, come on. Sexual images prompt inquiry by California into Musk's, what is that, XAI? California's Attorney General on Wednesday said the state had opened an investigation into Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, XAI. I guess I didn't know that's what I thought it was called. I thought his was Grok. Is that something else? I don't know. For generating sexualized images of women and children. Ooh, gross. The inquiry will examine whether XAI, which owns social media platform X and created the AI chatbot Grok. Okay. So Grok is an AI chatbot. So AI is creating AI, is that? Violated state law by facilitating the creation of non-consensual intimate images. Ugh, yeah. That doesn't sound... I mean, that seems like a sort of obvious use of the, if you're going to look at things that can get funny, that's one of the things that could get funny. Trump credits Mr. Tariff for U.S. growth. Economists disagree. Mr. Tariff. Here he is at the Ford Motor in Dearborn. Yeah, that's near. I've been in there, I think. In Dearborn. Yeah. I think some of my family still works there, actually. I'm trying to think if they still do. I don't know. Britain awards wind farm contracts to power 12 million homes. 12 million homes. Wow. U.S. refiners set to profit from oil in Venezuela. Okay, that's a continuation of that article. Private companies could play a role in cyber warfare under new U.S. plan. The Trump administration is weighing a substantial shift in cyber strategy, including by enlisting private companies to assist with offensive cyber attacks. Well, that might be a good idea. The proposals have been included in drafts of the administration's coming national cybersecurity strategy, which will set out general priorities and be accompanied by a plan to carry out the policies. I don't know enough about this, but that might be good. Companies that turn oil into gasoline and diesel. Oh, we already saw it. Saks. Here's why Saks is going. Nobody's wearing this shirt. No, really, I think it has to do with, I can't speak to Saks and stuff, but I know like Macy's. I used to shop at Macy's for gifts, and part of that's because when you bought like a nice cashmere sweater for your sister, you'd say, well, way back, you'd say, could you gift wrap it? And they would put it in a nice box with tissue paper and a sticker, you know, a little gold sticker, put it in the box and wrap it. And it was like an experience. And then they stopped wrapping, but they still gave you the tissue paper in the box. And then probably about 10 years ago, I went to buy gifts, and I had all these things, and I said, do you have boxes? And they said, no, we don't have boxes anymore. Oh, or maybe if at first they charged you, and then they stopped having them. And I was like, well, then what's the point? Like, I'm not going to give a nice cashmere sweater to somebody and not have it pretty. Like, the gift wrap's really what I'm paying for. You know what I mean? And the Macy's gold tag, and that's what you're paying for, not the thing. I can get a sweater anywhere. Swedish Health, they should let me be in charge. I think I could. You got to start doing the really beautiful decorations, the phenomenal window displays, yeah, the gift wrap, like piano playing in store. You have to up, if you're gonna sell your clothes for $1,000 a piece, like, and they do at Saks, then you have to have that experience. Like, look at this store is not, that's not that experience. Get rid of the ugly ceiling. This light fixture maybe is okay. I mean, this looks like JCPenney. What are we doing? And JCPenney, you are paying JCPenney prices, but at Saks, no, it's got to be fancy. Swedish, sorry, this throat thing's still going on. Swedish health startup offering full body scans plans to enter U.S. market. You know, I have mixed feelings on these. Like, part of me is like, do you want to know, like, if you, because some things are completely, they'll never affect you. You'll have this thing and it's just there, and you die and it never affects you. But if you find out about it, now you got to deal with it and spend a lot of money. But at the same time, if I found something early, you'd be like, yay. But generally, you're probably healthy and fine, and you're just spending money for no reason on this. I don't know. 15 years ago, Daniel Ek broke into America's digital content wars with his streaming music startup Spotify, which has turned into a publicly traded company with 110 billion market value. I'm on Spotify, no-frills ASMR. I do not make a dime on that because I don't know what you have to get any kind of income on Spotify, but I post videos there if you ever just need audio, like on an airplane or something. Go look it up. But leave a 5-star review so it helps me out, and maybe say hi, and also tell people to go to YouTube because they actually pay me. Anyway, now he and his business partner, or buy me a coffee. You could do that. You could buy me a coffee. If you go to Spotify, buy me a coffee. Now he and his business partner, the Swedish entrepreneur, oh boy, Hjalmar Nilsson, aim to crack a higher stakes consumer market, American healthcare. The pair plan to bring Neko Health, the health tech startup they founded in 2018, to New York this spring. Tell me, what do we get to find out if we do this? The company, which advertises its service as a health check for your future self, did not say what the U.S. scans would cost, But in Stockholm, an hour-long visit at one of its clinics cost 2,750 Swedish krona. That sounds like a lot. That's about 300 US. Oh, that's not so bad. Pronuvo and Ezra's most comprehensive scan can cost $4,000. What does it tell you? What will this scan tell us? Okay. It does not use MRI or X-ray, instead relying on scores of sensors and cameras and a mix of proprietary and off-the-shelf technologies to measure heart function and circulation and to map every inch of a patient's body looking for cancerous lesions. Does it really work? What is this? Is this snake oil, or does that work? I have no idea. I mean, I'm not going to say I wouldn't do it. The barking signals to calling the shots. Oh, a lot of coaches are getting. Did you guys hear Baltimore's coach, Harbaugh, and Steelers coach? He stepped down. Harbaugh was fired. Steelers coach stepped aside. I don't know if, there was like, you step aside or we'll fire you. I don't know. I don't think so. He claims he just stepped down. And I think the Bills have hired Harbaugh from Maryland. I don't know who Maryland's getting, though. Anyway, all very exciting. I have to do my NFL video today, which I'll probably post today, so this video might be members only anyway. Argentina's Federation turmoil casts shadow over World Cup title defense. Testing the boundaries. I don't know what all this is. All the sports stuff, I don't know. There's the Detroit Tigers. I can tell you that. I haven't followed them ever. Claudette Colvin, whose bus arrest preceded Rosa Parks, dies. I don't know if I know about her. Refusing a driver's order to give her seat to a white woman. What is wrong with us? Jerdis Winther Baxter, 101, last survivor of the diphtheria epidemic in Alaska. He was 101 and she was 86. Well, that's interesting. You know what? I should look up diphtheria. I don't off the top of my head. I mean, let's see. Do they tell us about diphtheria? What is diphtheria? Let's see. Are they only available? Where do they tell us? Another mustard. This is all about dog sled racing. Wait, what's diphtheria exactly? More dog sled stuff. Lots of dog sled information. Lieutenant Governor went politics. What? The sled relay. I don't know. I mean, they seem to be talking about it here. Okay, I guess that's right here at the beginning. He was then 11 months old, was hospitalized in Nome on January 30th with diphtheria and what she later called a high fever. Highly contagious, diphtheria is a dangerous bacterial disease that can clog airways, severely restricting breathing and damage the heart and kidneys. That sounds like a terrible, anything restricting breathing. Yay. At the time, there was only one doctor, Curtis Welch, in Nome, a gold rush town of 1,400 inhabitants. Yeah, Alaska would have been tiny. After 2 young children died of diphtheria by mid-January, officials there instituted a quarantine advised by Dr. Welch, who had realized that a pandemic seemed almost inevitable. He sent alerts by radio telegram to other towns in Alaska and pleaded for emergency help from the U.S. Public Health Service. The nearest supply of antitoxin made from the blood of horses was at a hospital in Anchorage, 1,000 miles away. Wow. The only available planes had open cockpits, making them unsuitable in temperatures that plunged well below zero. Nome's port near the Arctic Circle on the Bering Sea was icebound. There was no local train service. A plan was devised to carry 300,000 units of antitoxin by train from Anchorage to the railhead of Nenana in interior Alaska, about 300 miles north. From there, sled dogs would ferry the serum 674 miles west to Nome, a relay that would involve 20 mushers and about 150 dogs. Wow. The things we did. So the mushers got the serum and they managed to move it. Wow. The 3 stricken winters survived because, another batch of antitoxin arrived in Nome by relay in mid-February. The epidemic was declared under control. 5 to 7 people died of diphtheria in Nome during the epidemic, according to various accounts, and perhaps 100 more died in nearby Inuit villages. Wow. Her mother was the sickest family member and experienced long-lasting respiratory problems. Dr. Welch's records seem to indicate that she received more doses of the newly arrived antitoxin than any other resident. Without the serum, she probably wouldn't have lived, Mr. Baxter said of his grandmother. That's crazy. Wow. I don't know anything about that. So it's from a horse. Daniel Walker Howe, 88, a historian of America's antebellum era, is dead. L. Simon Scott, or Simone maybe, 49, America's Test Kitchen Chef. Oh, I watch that show sometimes. I don't think I recognize her. But sometimes that comes on like the free channels, the America's Test Kitchen. How to register for tickets to the 2028 games in Los Angeles. Oh, that would be kind of fun to go to the Olympics. My sister and I were going to volunteer for the Olympics in Italy. And we looked at it like over a year out, and it was already done taking volunteers. You're like, oh. But when you volunteer, you have to pay for all your travel and your lodging. I think, if I remember correctly. And you get like a sweater. But it would still be fun, I think. Maybe it's just pain in the butt. I don't know. It seems kind of exciting. Weather forecast. Freezing cold, basically. Rain, snow. 80 degrees in Los Angeles. 50 in Fresno. Yep. Orlando, 60 in rain. It's like Casper, Wyoming's 50 and Orlando's 60. They're almost the same. All right. Thursday styles. Okay. Look cool, stay warm. It's time to enjoy the small parade of stylish coats and vast sea of plain or drab winter styles that dominate the streets these days. What is this? Love Taylor Swift? Learn to cringe. Why? What does this mean? The life cycle of the mega famous pop star may have entered a new phase. Oh, because of her pop music kind of thing. The new album is how I. Taylor Swift is one of the most successful pop stars of her generation and has the superlatives to prove it. She is among the most popular touring artists of the past 25 years, the most streamed artist on Spotify, and has the most Grammy nominations for Song of the Year. Her Eras tour grossed $2 billion, demonstrating not just that her fans are legion, but also that they're willing to spend their life savings on her. So why is being a Swift fan considered by a small but vocal contingent on social media to be so, well, embarrassing? Who cares? Ignore them. People want to hate on stuff. Like, what do you care? Let people be people. At the Golden Globes, unforgettable looks stole the show. I did not watch the Golden Globes. I was watching a playoff game. And I do love Nikki Glaser. Hey, you guys want to know something? I already told this story, but it excites me. I like Nikki Glaser. And when she did that roast of Tom Brady, it was football, and she didn't know anything about football before that. And I heard her say on a podcast that in order to study, she likes ASMR, and in order to study for that, she listened to No-Frills ASMR football video. What? I went on her social and I was like, is this accurate? And she did not respond because she's very busy and famous. But I was like, oh my God. I like literally had the best day that day because I was like, is this for real? Like, that can't be for real. Like, what? Because she's absolutely hilarious. I have to watch at least her opening monologue from the Golden Globes because I do love her. All right. Jennifer Lawrence. She seems pretty awesome. Coleman Domingo. He's, no, he's not. Never mind. I was going to say, he was in that show, The Four Seasons. That's what he was in that I watched recently. He's good. I mean, great. He's great. Jessie Buckley. Do I know her? Where's she from? I do know her, but I don't know her from. Audrey Nuna. Where's she from? Oh, K-pop Demon. I have not watched K-pop Demon Hunters, even though I've been hearing it's worth watching. I kind of have a rule to not watch any kids shows until I have grandkids, because you know how kids want to watch things 100 times, and I don't want to have already seen them. But maybe they'd all be too outdated because I don't have any grandkids yet. Connor Story. I don't know who he is either. I don't know. Oh, Heated Rivalry. I haven't watched that. That's that hot hockey show. Who's this? Jacob Elordi. I've been hearing about this guy. What is he from? The actor from Frankenstein. I haven't watched yet, even though my son says I'll like it. The Narrow Road to the Deep North. I've never heard of. I don't know what I've seen him in. I'm not sure. He doesn't look familiar. Emma Stone, of course. We all know her. Tiana Taylor. Yeah, she was in One Battle After Another. She was good. I like that movie. Eva Victor, the writer, director, and star of the film Sorry Baby. I haven't seen that. I don't know that. I'm kind of behind on all my movies. I just last night, I don't know why, I watched The Long Walk, that Stephen King one. I just was curious to see it. It just had an interesting thing to me. It was fine. It was fine. It was good. It wasn't like great, like I want everybody to go watch it. But I stayed engaged and enjoyed it at home. If I had gone to the movie theater, I may have been like, eh. But Pamela Anderson, always looking nice. I like the way she's carrying herself right now. She seems very confident. I like it. Chase, and by the way, people talk about people hounding somebody. She can't do anything right for some people in the comments. But you know, you get to be a certain age, it's like you have to just ignore that. Any age, really. Chase Sue Wonders. Who's she? Oh, The Studio. Oh, I love her. The Studio. That show's good. And she's great. Odessa Azion from Marty Supreme. I haven't seen that yet either. I haven't seen that. And that's by the person who did Uncut Gems, which I never watched because, well, one of my sons, he mentioned that it's like very visually fast paced and whatever. And my husband has some sort of neurologic issues and he can't watch things that like flash and stuff. So I don't want to watch it with him. And I don't know if Marty Supreme's like that or not. But, so I haven't seen either of those yet. Bella Ramsey. Oh yeah, The Last of Us. I liked the first season of The Last of Us, but the second season, I watched one episode and I was like, not so interested in all the, I don't know. This is kind of funny. She looks like a gift wrapped or something. Natasha Rothwell. I don't know her. The White Lotus. It's so funny. I watched the first season and I really liked it, but for some reason, I haven't followed up with the other seasons. Timothy Chalamet. He's in Marty Supreme. I haven't seen it, but obviously I've seen it. All right. People, places, and things. Arranging your desk for maximum productivity and self-expression. I need to clean my office. If you guys could see behind me right now, you'd be like, shame on you. There's just, I kind of get books and magazines and stuff, and they're just piling up in a pile over here. And some of them I should probably throw away. I'm looking back over here, and it's like, eek. A guitarist's brief lesson in style and comfort. Bob Weir, who's from the Grateful Dead, became known for his cutoffs and short shorts in his Grateful Dead days. Yeah. Bob Weir, it's funny because I feel like it may have been on the video where we looked at the rock trivia cards. And I think my husband and I were like, is he alive? I don't think he's alive. And people in the comments were like, he's alive. Well, not anymore. Rest in peace. That's not making light of it. Just a note. Perils and promise of an empty nest. More time to focus on each other is a good thing for a couple or an eye-opener. Yeah, I could imagine for a lot of couples who've never been around each other that much, it would be very difficult. Very difficult. My husband and I have run businesses together since we were, I don't know, 40? Maybe. I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably in our 40s. So we've been doing it for a while, so we're used to always being together and like dealing with each other in a work. I remember people would come to me and go, I don't know how you do it. I'd kill my husband. It's like, well, you can't. You have to change your point of view and have a certain amount of respect for the other person and assume they're doing the best they can and everything, and we do that. So it's worked out all right. But I know for people it probably takes, I could see how that could be hard. This meme is pushing buttons. Okay. Men's coats make a strong impression. So he's got like a varsity. He's got just like a overcoat. I don't know. These look like things, my granddad and dad wore. They're kind of throwback. That's kind of cool looking. I like the leopard skin little satchel. That's kind of fun. I mean, not real leopard skin, but whatever. Preppy boy. That's like fuzzy. Fuzzy. This guy looks like the Doors or something, like a rock and roller. If I saw him, I'd go, you're a British rock guy, aren't you? Puffer jacket. Yeah. No one coat, but two leather and Is he saying the dog? I don't know. Heated rivalry builds fan base outside the rink. Okay, what do we have here? Arts. She's all done with dragons. Time for ponies. Who's this? Amelia Clark. Oh, she's from... I was going to say How to Train Your Dragon. That's not it. From... oh my God. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. I never watched Game of Thrones. Amelia Clark, who plays a fledgling spy in Ponies, said the new series felt daunting after her role in Game of Thrones. A lead in a TV show, she said. I know what that commitment feels like. The new show is on Thursdays. Oh, okay. Social critique and biting asides. CBS News road trip. It's a rough patch. Reviving an off-kilter opera's duck-filled chaos. What? Painted by man from planes. Several of Jimmy Carter's artworks. Did I know Jimmy Carter painted? I don't think so. And memorabilia will be featured in a Christie's sale. I know George Bush Jr. paints, but I didn't know Jimmy Carter did. Learn something new every day. Letters expressing social critique and biting asides. Oh, that's continuation. Harper Lee in a photograph from 1960 by her friend Truman Capote. The letters she wrote to Jo Beth McDaniel above provide a record of the second half of Lee's life and are filled with humor, sometimes barbed. Oh, Harper Lee wrote, To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay. Huh. So they published your letters. Is that it? That could be interesting. How readers would improve New York City. Want your MTV? Here's how to get it. I want mine. I used to love MTV back in the day. Oh my gosh. Loved it. This is Fatboy Slim's video. I remember this. What does it say? Clockwise from top. Videos for Flatboy Slim's weapon of choice. Yeah. You guys should watch that if you haven't seen it. It's kind of funny. Nellie's Country Grammar and Santa Gold's LES, less RT. I don't know that one, I gotta say. And Santa, I don't, maybe I would if I saw it, I don't. I swear he doesn't change, he looks the same always. She's all, yeah, these are all just continuations. Explore the future of journalism. This is kind of a cool illustration. What do we have? We've got a person looking through binoculars and a guy just looking over the edge, contemplating his life. Uh-oh. A person making an airplane out of their newspaper. And then the bird has a newspaper. And this person's looking with binoculars. We have what appears to be an escalator to nowhere. Two people looking at a computer screen. A person talking like I am right now. Look, that might be me. Here's the Empire State Building with a chewed on apple core and then an apple with a worm in it. There is an owl inside this building. That should be a kitty cat, but it's an owl. Here is a guy working, and it looks like he's putting wood planks on these windows, like closing them up. Uh-oh. Here is a paper being printed, and people are reading the paper. Here's the newsstand, and there's a woman on top looking at her laptop, and a woman drinking her coffee. And here's a woman with sunglasses on reading the paper, and a pigeon. kid. I guess he's using his phone to interview this guy. Maybe. And here's a mouse riding a motorcycle. Ooh, and a raccoon coming out of the sewer system there. We've got our big reporter notepad and this person who might have a press pass, I'm not sure. And then here's a taxi driver, and there's a mouse reading a paper in the back, and a doggy with a paper on the advertisement. There's somebody maybe doing a podcast or something with their computer. And a couple of people might be students with backpacks. And then there's a giant pencil. And then the newsboy, a little newsy, and he's up on the pole going, extra, extra, read all about it. And then this guy has his headphones on. He's got a giant iPod Classic, it appears. So I think he's listening to music because I don't think they stream the iPod Classic. And a mouse sitting very precariously on this thing here. And a lady opening her window, I think. And then pigeons, pigeons, pigeons. Pretty cute. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. In fact, I will be back with football picks that I'll probably post today, so I have no idea what will happen with this video. If I post more than one video a day, YouTube seems to punish me for it. Isn't that weird? So I have to be a little careful. Alright, talk to you later. Your daily puzzle. I still do Wordle and connections. I've never seen this. I should look at that. You know what about this cringe? Where was that? That cringe Taylor Swift thing. It's like some people I even know think ASMR is cringe, or people who make fun of like Disney people, like why do you care? Like who cares? If people are into something, like back off. I just don't understand that kind of judgment on people about things they find interesting. My sister, who knows I do ASMR, told me ASMR. She said in my video, she watched part of one